Good evening to those of you overseas. Wanshang Hao. My name is Jay, and this is Jeff T. Elise of the City of Ottawa. Good morning.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So today will be part of our Discover Canada series, the City of Ottawa. And Jeff T. Elise is an economic development officer for the City of Ottawa, and we have a great partnership with the City of Ottawa, and we're really thankful for Jeff Tay and the City of Ottawa for allocating their time this morning to joining us and to sharing with you guys, our Intact registered clients, all that Ottawa has to offer in terms of employment opportunities, lifestyle, and also perhaps even business opportunities for small business or investment. And that's what Jeff Tay will run through this morning. As usual, we will have a 30-minute presentation by our partner, in this case, the City of Ottawa. And then we will open the floor to you guys and to ourselves to have a conversation and a question and answer period where we can ask Jeff Tay further questions that you may have about anything regarding lifestyle in City of Ottawa, housing, healthcare, education, certainly talent attraction and employment opportunities, sector-specific questions about certain sectors for those of you that are skilled workers that will be coming to Canada through express entry or any federal skilled worker programs. We look forward to having that conversation. So I'll allow Jeff Tay to introduce herself and to take it away. Thank you, Jeff Tay.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you for having me today. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. As Jay mentioned, my name is Jeff Tay Elise, and I am an Economic Development Officer with the City of Ottawa. And one of our goals as economic development officers is to attract businesses to the city. And of course, to attract business, we need to attract top talents so that business have access to talented group of workers, which is why I'm here today to tell you about our beautiful city and what a great place it is for you to work, study, and even have some fun. And as Jay mentioned, and I will even touch base on business opportunities that exist if you are thinking about starting your own business. I understand that we do have with us today some people who are French, so bienvenue aux francophones. La présentation aujourd'hui serait en anglais, mais je suis parfaitement bilingue. Donc, si vous avez des questions en français, n'hésitez pas à les poser lors de la période de questions et ça me ferait plaisir de vous répondre. So on the agenda today, I will start by giving you an overview of Ottawa. So I will explain, as I mentioned, why you should choose Ottawa from a work and study perspective, from a lifestyle perspective, and also business opportunities that exist. I will briefly touch base on what you can expect once you arrive in Ottawa. And I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have at the end of the presentation. So as you probably already know, Ottawa is the nation's capital, and it's the fourth largest urban region in Canada. What most people don't realize is how big Ottawa is. Ottawa is really a big city. It's spread over a large land area. So if you look at the screen, you will see that what that map is showing. So basically, Ottawa is larger than other cities in Canada that you may know of. So when we take Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver, all of those cities combined, when you combine all of them, Ottawa is still larger in terms of the land area that the city covers. So it's a very big city with lots of room to move around. The region is home to over 1.3 million people. 66% of them live in Ottawa, and the rest of them live in municipalities that are close by, such as the biggest one that we share the border with is Gatineau, that is located just across the Ottawa River in the province of Quebec. A special feature of the region is that both English and French are widely spoken and are reflected in the city's culture and businesses. Ottawa is a multicultural city with a large and growing immigrant population that enriches the city. So you will not be the first immigrant. Well, as you can tell already by me doing the presentation in the city, there's a large number of immigrants already here in Ottawa. Ottawa is also a young city with a relatively low median age, so we have a young population and one that is rapidly diversifying. As I mentioned, 1 in 4 Ottawa residents is an immigrant, so that population is growing twice as fast as the rest of the city's residents. And all parts of the world are represented. We have 53% of our new arrivals come from Asia and the Middle East, 17% from Africa, and 15% from Europe. So you can see that when you walk across the city, there's over 150 languages that are spoken. So in Ottawa, it's not unusual when you're walking to hear people speak Arabic, Chinese, Spanish, Italian, German, French, etc. So Ottawa diversity can also be seen in some of the city's charming ethnic neighborhoods, such as Chinatown, Lelo Italy, and other such neighborhoods. Ottawa is very well located. We have over 200 million people that reside within a 2-hour flight from Ottawa. You can see there are many direct flights to major cities such as London, New York City, Chicago, Toronto, which if you are conducting business, make it easier to conduct business with the rest of the world. But also if you are thinking about traveling back and forth, going back to your country of origin to visit, it makes traveling easier. In 2014, Mercer conducted a cost of living survey. So what you see on the slides, it shows some of the most expensive cities in the world, such as Hong Kong, Tokyo, London, New York City, and Paris. They were all in the top 30 most expensive cities in the world. And we have some Canadian cities, Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal, Calgary, all of them rank way ahead of Ottawa. So what the survey revealed was Ottawa was the least expensive city among Canadian cities. So how do we compare? So if we look at some key indicators that when you are trying to think about your future home, these are some of the indicators that are important for you that you want to take a look at. So when we look at those indicators and we compare them to some of those other big cities that you may be thinking about settling, considering moving to, it is easy to understand why Ottawa is one of the best and inexpensive cities to settle. So the first indicator that I would like to bring your attention to is the unemployment rate. So what I'm showing you, it's the latest information that we have, December 2018, which was last month. So you will see that Ottawa, from all of the 3 cities compared to Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal, and Canada as a whole, you will see that the unemployment rate was the lowest in Ottawa at 4.9%, compared to, it is well below the 6% of Toronto and 5.9% of Montreal, and the average Canadian of 5.6. Why the unemployment rate is important, the lower that number is, the better it is for someone looking for work, because you know that most people who are looking for work are able to find work and are in the workforce. And her unemployment rate, so I'm showing you December, but this is not an exceptional month. It's consistently, so month after month, it remains lower than the largest centers that I show you. And it's historically, over the years, it has always been lower than that of the provincial, so Ontario as a whole, and also Canada as a whole. The second indicator that I'd like to point out to you is the median household income. So this is how much money on average on a household, so a home, whether it's 2 people, 3 people, so the average income of the home is. So when we look at Ottawa, you will see that here it's the contrary. The higher it is, the better, the better it is. So the last statistic that we have is from 2015. You will see that Ottawa's median household income was at 86,451, compared to once again Toronto, Montreal, which is about $8,000 to $24,000 more than that of the other two cities and of Canada. So the last indicator, as a newcomer, at some point you will be looking want to look into buying a home, buying a house. So you want to look at the average house prices. So how much it will cost when you're ready to do that. So how much it will cost you to buy a home. So when we look at the last numbers that we had in November 2018, which was only 2 months ago, the average house price in Ottawa was around 393,000, and if you compare that to other cities, Toronto, which was sitting at 763,000, and you see Canada in general was at 488,000. Only Montreal is slightly lower than Ottawa, but you can also see that Montreal income is 25. Household income is $25,000 less than Ottawa, which will explain why the average house prices is a little bit lower. So in summary, what those indicators, that slide shows you is that Ottawa compares extremely well against other big cities that you might be considering. So residents, they enjoy a low unemployment rate. Once again, it means that you are more likely to get employed. We have a higher household income, so more money that coming in into the home, and the houses are more affordable than most other big cities in Canada. So in other words, we are more likely to get employed, to earn a higher income, and pay less in housing. So if you are still trying to decide where to settle in Canada, I will spend the remaining of the presentation to show you basically why you should choose Ottawa and what the city has to offer. From a work and study perspective, the city has a strong economy. Between 2011 and 2014, the size of the Ottawa Gatineau, so Gatineau, as I mentioned, is our neighbor city, the labor force grew by 4.1%. So as previously mentioned, we have low unemployment rate in the region, and it remained consistently lower. Canada has the most educated workforce in the world, and her city has one of the most educated workforce in Canada. So we work with collaboration with businesses and labor partners to try to identify what are some of the key sectors that are influential in the city. So for future development, so what should we be looking at? So there was 8 sectors that came on top. So we have public administrations, which is huge because we have the federal government, which is a major employer in the region, healthcare and social. So if you are in the sector of healthcare or social services, that's number 2 in terms of influential sectors. Information, communications, and technology, we will see, not surprising because there's a big tech hub in Ottawa. Education, we will talk about her education system, is also a big sector in Ottawa. Finance, tourism, manufacturing, and lastly, construction. We'll talk a little bit more about each of these sectors in the next few slides. Ottawa has a highly sought after talent pool. So as you can see, 63% of Ottawa's population who are aged 15 years and over has a post-secondary certificate, diploma or degree, and over 128,000 have a master's and PhD degree. So the city boasts the highest concentration of scientists and engineers in North America and the highest concentration of tech talent in the nation. Why is this important? Because this is extremely important because this is linked to innovation and creativity, meaning that companies who are looking to innovate for creativity, for talent, they come to Ottawa, which means more jobs are created and we are able to offer, to have more jobs available to new and existing residents. What you will see right now is last year, end of 2018, the Ottawa Business Journal conducted the 2018 Ottawa Business Growth Survey. So this is where they go and survey businesses in Ottawa and ask them key questions. So what that survey revealed, and that is important to us today, is that the majority of businesses believe that their markets will grow in the next 12 months. Once again, this equals more opportunities for you guys. And 63% of local businesses reported that talent acquisition, meaning getting the right people to work for them and retain them, remain the most important issues. So they are always looking for new talent. 44% say that they plan to hire new employees for the next year, and 24% of Ottawa businesses felt that access to skilled workers had worsened in the last 2 years, meaning that they are constantly looking for new workers. So these findings tell us that the city needs a greater pool of people to work and have a greater pool of people available to businesses, which is why we look to people like you and try to attract them to come and settle in Ottawa. So Statistics Canada labor force survey between 2013 and 2017, they reported that her region labor grew by 3.4%. And in 2017, based on Statistics Canada, these are the top 5 employment sectors in Ottawa. Public administration came at number 3, so 23%. Health and education, as I mentioned before, at 20%. Professional, scientific, technical service, 11%. Retail trade at 10%, and construction at 5%. So let's take a closer look what that means. So public administration, as I was mentioned, is very influential. It's a big sector in the region. As the capital of Ottawa being the capital of Canada, you have all 3 levels of governments that are represented. So you have a strong presence in the city. From all 3 levels. So you see the federal governments, they have over 270,000 active employees, and 40% of those employees work in the city. So we have the municipal government also, who employs approximately 17,000 employees in many different fields. And contrary to what people believe, when we think about government work, we think it's a specific position, but this is really cover a variety, a different type of position. So if I give you the example of municipal government, which I work for, you will see that we have work in the fields of administration, transportation, meaning bus drivers, taxi drivers, and so on. We have people in healthcare, so whether nurses, whether doctors, whether people providing one-on-one type of assistance to elder people, assisting elder people, cooks, and so on. We have law enforcement, so whether police officers, we have emergency services, paramedics, ambulance, and all of that. We have lawyers on staff, environmental issues, planning, so from building all of the infrastructures, the roads, so people that work to clean the roads, so winter, snow removal, recreation. We employ a lot of people in terms of offering recreations, classes, and all of that to residents and people in technology. So we have all of them are employed just by the municipal government. So it's not, I don't want you to think public administration is a specific type of job. So it's really a wide variety of jobs. So if we look at education very quickly, we see that the sector's growth that I mentioned, education has grown by 9.9% over that period of time, healthcare by 9.7%, trade by 9.2%, and professional scientific and technical services by 6.3%. So you see all of those sectors are not only influential sector, big sectors, but also they are growing. Construction, it's one of those sectors that have experienced the most growth between 2011 and 2016. So when we talk about construction, the type of work that is available range from, it's a large spectrum, from project management to laborers, people actually building the house, people doing inspection, all that. There are so many type of work involved in the construction sector, and it's grew by 11.3%. So in the slides, I won't go over a lot of it, but you can see some of the major construction projects that is happening. The big one for us and will be is the O-Train Confederation line, which is a light rail system, so a train system, and that construction started in April 2013, and we expect that first phase 1 to be completed in March. This was a $2.1 billion project, and shortly, as soon as we receive the keys for phase 1, phase 2 will start, and this is a $3.6 billion project that goes to 2023. So this gives you an idea just how big the construction project sector is. And we have the federal government. We are currently renovating the Parliament building, which is a 10 years project that is happening. So I can tell you this is a field that if you have experience in, if you are interested in, there are signs everywhere of people looking for construction workers, and as I mentioned, all type of jobs. So given the talent pool that we are able to attract at the city, it is not surprising that we have businesses from a variety of sectors. We have 1,700 plus in the knowledge-based companies across all sectors. We have over 1,400 employees in high-tech companies with less than 50, 1,400 high-tech companies with companies with less than 50 employees. And Ottawa is also home to one of Canada's most vibrant technology industry. So it refers to as Canada North. So this is the largest most vibrant technology industry, technology park, research and technology park in the city. So they just conducted the economics impact to see how they are doing. There are over 500 companies that call Canada North. So this is just a town west of Ottawa. And there's just in that part of town, there's over 500 companies, tech companies that are there, and they contribute over $13 billion to Canada's GDP each year and to the local economy. They have, you can see, over 20,000 skilled employees working just in that part of town. So we have a big tech sector and one of the largest in North America. The following slides show you really that we do have different sectors. We have life sciences, clean tech, defense and security, and aerospace. And if you have more questions in the Q&A, I can give you an example, and you can see some of the logos also of companies that are already here in the following sectors. Less known, we have a number of companies that are also 107 plus companies in digital media and even film and televisions. We have 900 in filming days in Ottawa. So all of which these sectors employs thousands of people. So when we look at change in jobs from 2015 to 2018, what you will see in a nutshell in this slide is that the top 3 jobs that experienced the most growth were managers in transportation, machine operators, and researchers, consultants, and program officers. You can see in the first column how many jobs, growth in jobs in terms of number of jobs that were created between that period of time. The second show you the average hourly rate. You can see that Ottawa, once again, for those 3 jobs offer a higher hourly job rate than Toronto, and if we compare this time against Toronto and Vancouver. And very interesting to look at is when you look at hours to buy a house. So basically when we take the average house price and the hourly rate, it shows you how, you know, for if you pick any of those 3 jobs, you need to work much less in Ottawa to be able to afford a home in one of those occupations compared to Toronto and Vancouver. If we just take something that, for example, machine operators and inspectors and that type of things, we're talking about 17,000 hours worth of hours of work compared to Toronto, you will have to work over 39,000 hours, and Vancouver, 71,000 hours. So you will see that in terms of that balance, Ottawa offers a great balance. So now if we go to our education system, when it comes to education system, Ottawa has a great education system. We have many schools to choose from. The city offers high quality English and French schools in the schools for school boards and private school systems. So her students score higher than provincial average in most areas of reading, writing, and math. So if you have children, or if yourself you are considering going back to school, you will see that we do provide quality education. We also have 4 post-secondary institutions. So we have, you can see Carleton, University of Ottawa, Algonquin College, La Cité Collégiale, which is French, and Willis College. Together combined, they have they educate as many as 138,000 students each year, and 20% of them specialize in science, technology, engineering, and math. And in a survey in 2017, when they interviewed students across the world, it's a worldwide survey, Ottawa came on top as the #1 student city as rated by students. So I know that life is not all about work. You want to know what FUD Ottawa has to offer you. So we do offer an incredible lifestyle. We are one of the Ottawa is a world-class capital, so we are recognized to being diverse, friendly city. And there's a magnificent natural beauty. So it's really a beautiful city to live in and to visit. You will see that it was voted the #1 best place to live in 2017. It was also voted in 2016 #1 best place for new Canadians to live. In addition, we were voted #3 for quality of living for large city in North America. So residents enjoy really an active city with a number of outdoor and indoor recreation to choose from. The next slide shows you some of that. We have an abundant abundance of parks. So whether it's for walking, hiking, we have over 800 kilometers of bike paths, over 1,000 parks to enjoy. We are an active a city of festival and events. There's over 180 annual festival to take part. So other festival fairs and special events. We have access to 29 museums. 14 of them are national museums. So these are museums people travel from all over Canada, all over the world to come visit, and they are located right here in town, and over 32 art galleries to visit. Golf course, there are over 70 in the city. We have 50,000 plus registered youth that are registered to play soccer as part of a soccer team in the city. A little bit less known, surprising to most people, we are one of the top 5 water rafting sports in the world. So for those of you who enjoy a little bit more adventure than I do, that is also there. So you also have, we do get lots of snow. I won't lie about that, although this winter hasn't been that bad yet. But we do make the most of it by enjoying great winter activities such as skiing, downhill ski. There's 7 ski resorts in Ottawa and 430 plus kilometers of cross-country ski trails. We do have a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This is the Rideau Canal that you can see. You can see the boat on the Rideau, on the Rideau Canal that people enjoy a lot of boating during the summer season. And that same canal freeze, you probably cannot see it because of the number of people that are on it. In winter, right now, it's a block of ice, and it becomes the world's largest natural frozen skating rink, and of 7.8 kilometers. And as you can see, a lot of people are out and about enjoying the Rideau Canal. We also do have Canada's biggest water park, which comes handy for the summer heat. So in terms of all this makes Ottawa not only a great city to live in, but a great tourist destination, which is why tourism is one of our big sector. We do have hundreds of thousands, millions, depending on the year, of people visiting each year, but also which make it a great place for your family and friends to visit you when you settle here. So from a business perspective, the city has been voted the most business-friendly mid-sized city among American cities. It was also voted the most sustainable city in Canada, 3rd in North America. This slide gives you an idea of all of the businesses from a variety of sectors that are already in Ottawa. We host the office for 83 Fortune 500 companies. You see big names such as IBM, Shopify, BlackBerry, Cisco, and so on. And very soon, Amazon, who's building a warehouse in the east side of the city. Despite all that, there's still plenty of room to grow. We still have 240 million square feet of available business park and land for development for businesses. So now in terms of what you can expect when you get here, Ottawa is a very welcoming and diverse city. We have charming ethnic neighborhoods where you can enjoy foods and products. So if you are looking for food and products from around the world, it's easy to find that in Ottawa. There's also an extensive network of settlement services and organizations that help newcomers settle quickly and effectively. So you will find the right amount of support that you need, whether it's in your job search, finding a home, finding what schools to enroll your children, what's the next step. There's an extensive network support that is available. We also, when it comes to starting your business, we do have Invest Ottawa, which is the city's economic development organization that provides support to help you start and grow a business in Ottawa. So what I have on site here is some of the website that might be of interest to you. This is something that we probably can communicate if you don't have time to write it down. But the first one, this is the city's website. If you want to take a look at what type of jobs the municipality offers, instead of the /jobs, if you type ottawa.ca/immigration, you will find this is the city's immigration portal where you'll find a lot of information. Invest Ottawa in terms of if you're thinking of business, and Canada Node BIA if you're interested in the tech sector that I mentioned that is located in the west end of the city. So this concludes my presentation. I'd like to leave a lot of time, a lot of room for your questions. So thank you very much for your time today. And I hope I was able to convey to you what makes Ottawa such a great city to immigrate and start a new life. Thank you.